Another thing you can do in Google Sheets is actually create a visual picture, so a chart or a graph with some data. So here's some fake budgeting data with different types of things you might be spending money on every month. You could always sum up that data if you wanted to calculate your total expenses using that function feature. So you could sum up your data and say, oh, that's how much I'm spending every month. But you may want to just create a visual picture of what's my biggest expenses. So to do this, we're going to highlight both the title column and the actual amount column. And let's actually, before we do that, let's just format really quick. So we learned how to use the formatting column, but you could also actually just hit this button here with the $sign. So now it's all money. So now that we have it written as money, we're going to highlight all of our expenses. And we're going to insert a chart. So we went to the insert menu and we're going to the chart menu, and it will bring up a menu on the right. So it usually starts you out in a column chart where it would show it as a bar chart. That's one good way to visually represent it. It shows, your highest expense is rent. You can see food is pretty close after that. Utilities is pretty close after that. And it's labeled everything for you because you've highlighted the labels themselves. Instead of a column chart, maybe you want a pie chart. We learned how to do a pie chart by hand. Maybe you want to just create a pie chart using this Google Sheets. Another good way to say, oh, hey, rent's my biggest expense, and see how each one stacks up against each other. There are many, many different types. There's line charts or area charts, bar charts that are sideways instead of upright. There's so many, we can't go through them all, but there's a lot of useful features that you may want to use. You can change any of the labels you want if you need to. If you want to customize it any further, you can go to customize and change colors. But most of the time you just use the basic chart and kind of leave it how it is. So using charts is actually pretty simple because you mostly just highlight your data and then create the picture. It's a real simple process, and they've made it super user-friendly so that it's pretty easy to come up with this visual representation of data you might be working with.